Hello and welcome to the AVLAND video guide to the Denon S5BD home cinema Blu-ray system. We're going to talk you through the features of this unit, its connections and its setup menus. This is the first S-series Blu-ray player from Denon, including HDMI 1.4 with audio return channel for a HDMI 1.4 capable TV. 3 HDMI inputs and 1 out. It's a 5.1 Blu-ray receiver, allowing you to add any speakers or subwoofer that you wish. Of course, supporting Dolby True HD, DTS HD. It also has iPod Direct for direct connection of an iPod via USB. You can see it's got quite a high gloss, simple kind of front panel, just the power button, and then there's the centre mounted disc tray in the middle there, with the volume control on the right hand side of the unit, with a quite nice big bright blue display there. And then you've got these stag beetle, they call them, flaps at the front. You see there's the setup mic. Okay, now we're going to show you how to use the S5BD with an iPod. Then on the right hand side of the unit, as we're looking at it, you've got the USB or iPod input along with the third HDMI input as well. With the iPod input, literally you just take the iPod cable that you get to connect the unit up to iTunes or your PC and then just stick it in the bottom. You can see it loads up with USB, comes up with Denon on the screen of the iPod, and then just switches onto the iPod menu straight away. If you've got the unit connected up to the screen, it goes onto an iPod menu as well, which we'll see in just a moment. This will be familiar to anyone who's seen any Denon media navigation before, perhaps from like the 4810 AVLAND video guide. Firstly displays the playing track, then you can browse alphabetically by artist. This is all done via the S5BD remote control. So we'll just go up to, see just scrolling through there, we'll just go up to the yeah, yeahs, and then just take it across to the maps and hit enter on the track you want to listen to, and it just loads up, starts playing. Moving on to the rear panel of the unit, you can see the Ethernet port on the bottom left there. Now this is just for BD Live content and for future firmware updates to the unit. Unfortunately you can't stream with it. You can see the two HDMI ins if you want to connect up, say, a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox or Sky HD, maybe Freeview HD now, and with the third one's on the front with the audio return channel on the output. Now I've just shown how to set up banana plugs. Literally you just need to remove these small plastic bungs. You can do that with a fingernail, and then just take your 4mm banana plug and pop that straight into the back of the unit, no problem. You want to use those because it's a permanent solderless connection with the unit, better for the cable. Moving into the menus now, and the first menu that displays is the Blu-ray player menu. So you go into the other setup, and then it's DVD or BD disc playbacks, so which one you want to use first, and data utility is just for formatting the SD card for storage, and then a firmware update over the Ethernet port. Moving on to the language setup, this is fairly obvious what you're seeing up here. This is literally just for the Blu-ray player, and we're showing what's it going to default to. Obviously we're going to leave it on English because that's where we are. Moving into the video setup, you've got your TV aspect ratio, the progressive mode, and auto format, whether it's the maximum resolution or the panel resolution, and then deep color to auto on or off. Then ratings level, again this is like parental sort of locks. So you've got the password, the rating level, you see we've got 254 on Blu-ray there, the country code, which we've got as Germany because we're European, and then your DVX registration code. Moving on to the network setup, and then it's if you've got your DHCP on or off. This is literally just for firmware updates and BD Live content. If you're using a proxy server, and then you can show the IP address and the MAC address of the unit. Moving on to the display setup now. First off, still mode, which is the image settings for pause, automatic field or frame, slideshow time if you're viewing JPEGs, and then captions on or off. And then we move into the AMP menus now. Obviously this unit incorporates both an AMP and Blu-ray player, so you've got both sets of menus in here. You press the setup button twice to get into the AMP menu. First off, you've got your source select, so decode mode per input, and then obviously you can rename as well, and then there's certain input modes for your auxiliary 1 and auxiliary 2. Moving out of that, we've got the audio adjust menu. So first off, we'll just drop down to the Odyssey settings. So we've just got these on or off. So you can see this has got Odyssey multi-EQ, dynamic EQ, and dynamic volume. Dynamic volume is for on-the-fly equalization between inputs and between advert breaks. And obviously the volume can spike during an advert, and that will just do some on-the-fly equalization to balance that out for you. There's some lip sync things there for audio delay, and then obviously tone controls. We've got an auto setup, which is the front microphone input on the front of the unit, and then into the speaker setup. So the configuration here, which again you'll be familiar with if you've seen any other of our other video reviews for Denon amps, which is large or small on the speakers, and then the bass setting we've got, so if you're using LFE, or just LFE and main as well, speaker distance, whether that's measured in feet or in meters, and then the channel level, you get your test tone up here, just to give you the best balance between all of your speakers. And then you can set those back to defaults as well, and then the crossover frequency, set it where the sub kicks in. And obviously with the speaker assigners, what speaker setup you're using, if you're just using stereo or a 5.1. HDMI setup with the audio outs going to the TV or it's coming through the amp. Then we've got the audio setup here, coaxial inputs and dynamic play mode. That's for bi-amping, so if you wanted to use the pre-outs for the surround back, you can use those to bi-amp your front speakers if you're using a bigger pair of speakers with them. Moving into the option menus here, we've got the volume control, the GUI, the screensaver settings, just literally on or off, text information, and the master volume, where that appears on the screen. So is it at the top or the bottom, or do you just want to turn it off? When you turn the volume up, do you want that actually to come onto the screen? Quick start mode, off or on. If you leave it on, the unit will start up quicker, but it will consume more power in standby. But that's not a huge amount, so generally would recommend leaving that on. The remote preset codes, which you'd normally see this in the manual, but they've actually put it in the menu for the unit here as well. You can just go in there and pop in and see the preset codes for the different manufacturers. So a lot of manuals you see list of manufacturers, Panasonic, Pioneer, all the different preset codes for your remote control. Trigger outs and the dimmer sensor, and then the setup lock, just to protect your settings from being changed spontaneously. And then obviously, right at the end, the language, which we'll leave. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video guide to the Denon S5BD Cara home cinema Blu-ray system. If you'd like to see the rest of the Denon range, or to watch some more video reviews, then please visit our website, www.avland.co.uk. Thanks very much.